uncertainty, and upsets in the Dusty Classic. I'm Matt Carlins, and this is Just Pro Wrestling News for Thursday, January 21st, 2021. This update is brought to you by Fight Underground. Check out Fight Underground on Facebook for the new fight between John Roden and Beastman. Results from last night's NXT, AEW Dynamite, and MLW Fusion are straight ahead in this update, but first,
WWE.
The WWE Women's United Kingdom Championship on the line today on NXT UK. Kaylee Ray is defending against Jinny. It sounds like there's going to be a late change to the final first-round match in the men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Ashante Adonis and Desmond Troy were both beaten down by Karrion Kross on last night's NXT, and in a video posted to WWE's social media later in the night, a trainer let slip that he had to pull both of those guys from the Dusty Classic. Their match against Tony Nese Ariya Daivari was supposed to happen on Friday night's 205 Live. WWE is also promising a match from the Women's Dusty Classic on that same show. Now, let's get to the rest of last night's NXT. It was a night of upsets. In the first match in the first ever Women's Dusty Classic, Kayden Carter and Kacy Catanzaro beat Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez. They got some help from Io Shirai, who's seeking revenge for an attack by Martinez weeks ago. That left Storm alone. The finish was a crazy, flipping, spinning something off the top rope by Catanzaro. Check your gifts, it's there. There were more upsets last night in the men's Dusty Classic. Kushida and Leon Ruff beat Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory. In Grand Metalik and Lince Dorado got past Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner. Their Imperium cohort, Alexander Wolf, made a surprise appearance after the match, and he did not look very pleased with the result. Finally, in the main event, Timothy Thatcher submitted Tommaso Ciampa to win their showdown in the fight pit. Ciampa got his leg trapped in the cage, and Thatcher took advantage. Next week's NXT will have Finn Balor teaming with Kyle O'Reilly against the tag champs Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. We'll also see the first quarterfinal matches in the men's Dusty Classic, Killian Dane and Drake Maverick versus MSK, and the Grizzled Young Veterans versus Kushida and Leon Ruff. Also, Santos Escobar will defend his Cruiserweight title against Kurt Stallion. He helped Lucha House Party run off Legado del Fantasma on NXT last night. WWE announcing Wednesday a trio of new signings for NXT: Priscilla Kelly, Elena Black, and Lacey Ryan. All three were quickly assigned new ring names and put to work. They were added to the field for the Women's Dusty Classic. Kelly and Black will team together as Gigi Dolan and Cora Jade. Ryan will now be known as Zoe Stark. She's going to team with Marina Shafir in the tournament. Chad Gable revealing that his former tag team partner Jason Jordan is not giving up on a return to the ring.
You know, it's unfortunate what happened to him with his injury, but you never say never. Like, he's working on it, he's trying to get back, and who knows, there's always, a reunion is always something that I would never be against.
Gable speaking on Wednesday's episode of The Bump. Jordan's last match was just over 3 years ago when a neck injury forced him from the ring.
AEW.
AEW putting some pieces in place for the coming weeks on last night's Dynamite. Perhaps the biggest development involved Hangman Page. He and the Dark Order teamed up to beat the Hybrid 2 and Chaos Project, but after the match, Hangman politely declined to join the Dark Order. A pre-recorded segment appeared to show Don Callis trying to bribe the Young Bucks to split with Kenny Omega before the Bucks beat up Callis. The Impact Tag Champs, the Good Brothers, were back on Dynamite. They attacked Penta El-Zero-M backstage. Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows will be back on Dynamite next Wednesday, teaming with the Young Bucks against the Dark Order. Eddie Kingston versus Lance Archer also added to next week's show. In 2 weeks, it'll be the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega taking on Jon Moxley and the Lucha Bros in the main event of AEW's Beach Break Special. Last night's main event saw MJF pin Sammy Guevara to win the Inner Circle Tag Team Triple Threat. Matt Hardy and Private Party, fresh off their appearance on last night's Impact, used a steel chair to beat Matt Sydal and Top Flight. Also last night, AEW announced a tournament to crown a new number one contender for their women's championship. AEW did not mention when it will begin. Finally, Jacob Fatu remains the MLW World Champion. He beat ACH on last night's Fusion. That's just pro wrestling news for Thursday, January 21st. Our next update comes your way tomorrow morning. Make sure you subscribe, rate, review, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. I'm Matt Carlins. Thank you for listening.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.